Alright, trig ratios. To begin, we're going to learn a little saying that's going to help us remember these trig ratios. And that saying is so katoa. It helps you remember how to find the sine, cosine, and tangent of a right triangle. So if we look right here, the first is so. That just means sine equals opposite over hypotenuse. That's why I have a S for sine, an O for opposite, and an H for hypotenuse. Next we have cosine. C stands for the cosine, A stands for adjacent, and H is for hypotenuse, because the cosine equals adjacent over hypotenuse. And last we have TOA. T for tangent, O for opposite, and A for adjacent, because it's tangent equals opposite over adjacent. So if you remember that, today should be relatively easy. SOHCAHTOA, sine is opposite over hypotenuse, cosine is adjacent over hypotenuse, tangent is opposite over adjacent. So let's go ahead and look at some examples. Alright, so first thing that I want you to do on every problem is I want you to identify what is the hypotenuse, what is the opposite, and what is the adjacent. So in this case, here's my 90-degree angle, so if I go across, here is my hypotenuse. Here is the identified angle, so I'm going to go across and find the opposite, which means this is my adjacent. Okay, so we have SOHCAHTOA. Sine is opposite over hypotenuse, because it's so. So my opposite is 16, and my hypotenuse is 20. And that can get simplified down to 4/5. So the sine of this angle right here is 4/5. So what's the cosine of this angle? Well, remember the cosine, it's CAH. C-A-H. So it's the adjacent over the hypotenuse, which can be simplified down to 3/5. And then the tangent is opposite over adjacent, because it's TOA, opposite over adjacent. So my opposite is 16, my adjacent is 12, which can be simplified to 4/3. Okay, so that's pretty much all we're doing, is we're just trying to identify the sine, cosine, and tangent of a given angle. Alright, so let's go ahead and look at another one. So the first thing, let's go ahead and label my sides. So here's my 90-degree angle, so we go across, and here's my hypotenuse. This is the angle I'm concerned with, so I'm going to, or it's identified, so I'm going to come over here, call it the opposite. And this one, third one's going to be the adjacent. So sine, so, S-O-H. Opposite is 3, hypotenuse is 5. Can't simplify. Cosine, C-A-H. The adjacent is 4, and the hypotenuse is 5. And then we have tangent, which is TOA, T-O-A. Opposite is 3, and the adjacent is 4. And I can't simplify it, so I'm done. Okay, that's all we're doing for right now. We're just identifying the trig ratio. Okay, let's do another one just to make sure we're good. Here's the 90-degree angle. Go across. Here's my hypotenuse. This is the angle we're concerned about, so we go across. Here's the opposite, which leaves this as my adjacent. Okay, sine is so. Opposite is 56, and my hypothesis, my hypotenuse is 70. Okay, so this can be simplified to 10 over 8, which actually goes to 4/5. Because 14 goes into both of those. Okay, cosine, opposite, or the adjacent over hypotenuse. So 42 over 70, which would give me 3/5. And then the tangent is opposite, so 56 over adjacent, 42. Which breaks down to 8 over 6, which is 4/3. Okay, now realize these answers would change a little bit if I was talking about this angle instead. The sine would be, because if we're talking about this angle and not that one, this would be changed to the O, and this would be changed to the A. So my sine would be the 42 over 70. My cosine would be 56 over 70. And my tangent would be 42 over 56. So it's very important to identify the sides according to which angle you're looking at it. So if we're identified this angle, it would be these. But if we were looking at this angle, it would have been these. So make sure you label the sides based off the angle identified. That will be very important. And that is your assignment. So go ahead and start working and let me know if you have any questions.